Okay. I'm still in Sunland, which today is cold finally. It's morning and it's a little chilly out, and I have got to wash this particular room. I don't know if you'll be able to hear me over the sound of the rags. Apparently this was the smoker's room, and it just has to be taken care of. So anyway, we're in the middle of a big freeze down all over the country. Apparently the ongoing effects of global warming. Right now we have, not to laugh at their predicament, but we have people trapped in the Antarctic because their icebreakers are stuck in the ice. Record freezes in the Antarctic. Oh, we got problems with this, boy. This stuff is just coming out of the surface here. See, the more I wash this, the more of it comes out of the ceiling. Flat paint is porous, and it's apparently nicotine over the years that's soaked in and come through whatever paint jobs are up there. So it's kind of a mess. Anyway, I was thinking again about this. Mr. Obama was on yesterday talking about, the unemployment benefits. And he just doesn't really seem to have any sense at all of what makes people tick. He talks about that, nobody's going to prefer getting a free paycheck and be demotivated by that. He says nobody will do that. I mean, people who suggest that have no faith in the American people to suggest that they would be susceptible to something like that. And, how does a guy go live as long as he's lived and know so little about human nature? In the same way that he assumes that 19-year-olds are going to run out en masse and buy insurance when they know in their hearts that they are immortal. I mean, every 19-year-old knows they're never going to die. For God's sake, they're going to go spend their party money to get insured against diseases that they don't believe they'll ever get. That's not going to happen. But the whole Obamacare thing hinges on that working. It's either that or we all get screwed and the thing becomes one big tax on the middle class. He just doesn't seem to have any understanding whatsoever of human nature. When people don't want to work, let's refer to this as the conservation of energy principle. Human beings don't want to move around. We move around because in order to feed the organism. That's what we do. We move around because it's a good idea to feed the organism. So that's why people do productive work. If they don't need to feed the organism, they generally don't want to do anything. And some people have great work ethics and or enjoy work more than others, and they're easier to motivate. Those people generally don't end up on unemployment. They're not among the ones to go in the layoffs. They're the productive ones. They are, productive. Or they are entrepreneurial. So they're not going to be hit nearly as hard. They're not going to be on unemployment for 100 weeks. But you get somebody on there that's been on there that long. Most of them have figured out ways around it. They're either they're selling a little weed on the side, or maybe they're a musician. They're playing a few gigs, or they're doing something under the table for a relative, and they're not declaring that stuff. And they're putting together some kind of income, Either that or they've taken over the housework and they've worked out a deal with the wife, taking care of the kids. They're finding a way to survive on $125 a week or whatever you're giving them. And they're not going to trade in that to go work for for $200 a month. A week. They're not going to trade that in for that because then they'd have to work for every hour they're getting paid. Now they're getting subsidized for many of the hours, and they're getting their money somewhere else. That's the way it works. People train very quickly. They'll give you what you expect of them pretty quickly. And if you're not expecting them to work in exchange for the money that you give them, they learn that very, very quickly. If people were, as Mr. Obama seems to believe, just flawlessly, a flawlessly high character, why do we have things like the concern about self-esteem? Why do we have that? Why are we always forever working to make sure that nobody offends anybody? If people are not affected by what is said to them and what is, the way in which they are treated, then what's the issue? But in fact, they are. And when they become permanently unemployed like this, it's not good for them. They change the way they think about themselves. They no longer feel like one of the productive people. They feel like one of the people who lives in this sort of underground economy and is just sort of getting by. It's pretty quick that a person will adjust to having almost nothing. And the longer you keep them on unemployment, the further from their mind becomes the picture of them as a person who exchanges energy for resources, which is what we do in the working world. I go out here and paint and, wash this damn ceiling. I don't want to be up here washing this ceiling. I know I have to. If I put paint over this stuff and all this nicotine comes back through it, I'm in trouble. I'm not going to get paid. You look at go, well, that back bedroom, why does it look so bad there on the ceiling? So that's why I'm up here doing the thing that has to be done. Because I don't want to have a problem standing between me and my rent, and me and my food payment. So I think of myself as a productive person because the only signals that I'm receiving from the world are that I'm a person expected to produce. We get people over into that other column, and we leave them there for too long. That's who they become. When I was in AA, I hear these people say, well, now that I'm going to get sober, I'm going to just take a year off. I'm going to get to know myself. I'm not going to go to work. I'm going to make my sobriety my first order of business. And I'm not going to do anything else except just get to know myself. And I would say to them, you're going to get to know yourself as a slacker. Oh, you'll know yourself all right. You'll know yourself as that person who never fucking does anything. You don't stir except to say goodbye to the wife who's supporting your sorry ass. And then you go to your meeting at noon and you talk about things and hug people. And, then you wind your way home and watch some afternoon TV. And, think about you. That's not what you do. You are informed by what your mind sees your body doing. And if your mind sees your body working and going out and looking for your work, that's what your mind sees your body doing that. That's how your mind feels about the organism in general. Every time I run low on work, I don't do anything for a while. Because, the truth is, I think I've got an excuse for a few weeks to just kind of take it easy. And then all the money goes away. And I realize, geez, pretty soon here, I'm not going to be able to eat. Pretty soon here, I'm going to be thrown out of my pad. So at that point, I go down and I make up some flyers, or put some photographs on my Craigslist ad, call some people, chase down some people that a year ago said they might be looking for painting at some point, and I get my ass into action because I have to, not because I want to, because I have to. and you remove from me the impetus based on need, if you take that away from me, I might just, coast a few more months. I've never collected unemployment in my whole life, so I don't know exactly what that's like, but I've been subsidized by 2 or 3 kind-hearted women in the past who thought they were helping me. Well, what they were really doing was turning me into a bum. And, I am a person of sort of average character. So if this works for me, it works with everybody. I hear my dad's voice inside my head. He had a really strong work ethic, which I'm sure was hammered into him by his own father. And, I don't feel very good about myself if I don't work for a while. And that starts informing everything about me. It starts draining my confidence off bit by bit. Do that for me for 100 weeks. Give me something for nothing for 100 weeks. And all I have to do is sort of pretend to look for a job. By the time it comes time for me really to look for a job, I'm 100 weeks into that. I'm 100 weeks into not being productive. And I'm 2 years away from having the sense of a job well done and, a paycheck richly earned. And pretty soon that drifts out of a person's, sort of sense of themselves. It's no longer foremost in their mind. And this is what happens in the welfare state. Not to say that unemployment insurance is the welfare state per se. But anytime people are receiving something for work they have not done, this is the danger you run. Now, of course, we have to help people somewhat. But, this notion that there's no end at 50 weeks, and there's no end at 70 weeks, and there's no end at 100 weeks, where's the end going to be? You just keep saying, well, it's not there yet. So. And one more thing here. Where are the shovel-ready jobs that we were supposed to have? I mean, wasn't that a promise that Mr. Obama made? Where are these jobs? We're not going to send people out there to build highways because it's not done with 300 guys with picks and shovels anymore. It's done with people who have skills and know how to operate a very specific machinery. So, but we got all kinds of things that could be done with those skilled workers. I live in LA. I'm a painter, So we know what can be done. How about a little graffiti abatement? You're going to be paying people a couple $100 a week for doing nothing. Well, get them down there and put a roller in their hand and have them wipe out some of that graffiti. There's something in every county that needs to be done. Clearing away brush. If we're going to be paying people, which of course we can't let people starve. If we're going to be paying people, let's have them doing some work, right? Where's all that shovel-ready stuff we were supposed to have? Where's all those jobs? Weren't we supposed to be having people running around weatherproofing houses? There's got to be something we can be doing to get some value out of the people we're helping. And then, in fact, we will be helping them because we'll be giving them something for the work they produce. They'll learn skills, maybe. Maybe they won't learn any skills, but at least until they can find a job, they'll be doing something. And it should be a little bit unpleasant because that'll drive them from that toward a job that will be better, more of their liking. People need inspiration. They don't need to be coddled like children. They need to be inspired, and sometimes that inspiration comes in the form of a bit of a kick in the ass. And I know that runs counter to the compassion crew, who in their compassion are turning a whole nation into weak, suck, geldings. What's the word when you cut somebody's balls off? They're turning us into a nation of eunuchs, where work is a penalty. Oh my God, don't make me work. What kind of punishment is, what am I, a Mexican? For God's sake, man. You should be a Mexican. You should learn how to work from these folks. They're not coming here looking for a handout. They're coming here looking for the jobs that, the unemployed are too fucking lazy to do. Anyway, there it is. I'm going to turn this off. I got work to do.